All right, today we're going to pull back the curtain on a process that most of us never, ever see, but is absolutely critical. We're talking about the high-stakes world of industrial boiler maintenance. It's all about high-pressure steam, extreme precision, and it's essential to literally keeping our lights on.
So, let me ask you a question. What's the one piece of equipment that powers pretty much everything, from these massive oil refineries to the power plants that light up entire cities? What is that fundamental beating heart?
Well, it's the industrial boiler. I mean, these machines are incredible. They're the true unsung heroes, providing the steam that's essential for all kinds of industrial heating and, of course, generating power. But just like any heart, they've got to be kept clean to work right. And that is where our story really begins. You see, inside every single one of these powerful machines, there's a silent enemy that's constantly forming. An enemy that threatens to bring the whole operation to a grinding and potentially catastrophic halt.
And this enemy, it's called boiler deposits. Just think of it as this nasty buildup of mineral scale, corrosion, all sorts of gunk and sludge that just comes from the water and chemicals flowing through the boiler. It's pretty much an unavoidable byproduct of making all that high-pressure steam.
And this slide really shows you the stark contrast. On the left, you've got a clean, healthy boiler tube doing its job, transferring heat efficiently. But on the right, that tube is getting choked with scale. It's kind of like plaque building up at an artery. It actually insulates the tube, which means the metal has to get dangerously hot just to transfer the same amount of heat. And that risks a massive failure. And the consequences just cascade from there. The boiler has to burn way more fuel just to keep up, which costs a ton of money and kills efficiency. The metal starts overheating, which can lead to tube failures, and in the worst-case scenario, a complete catastrophic shutdown of the plant. This isn't just a minor inconvenience. We're talking about a major safety and economic risk.
So how in the world do you fight an enemy like this? Well, you fight it with a high-stakes chemical deep clean. And let me tell you, this is not your average spring cleaning. It is a complex, incredibly precise industrial operation.
You see, cleaning isn't just a one-and-done thing. It's a whole life cycle process. Even a brand new boiler gets what's called a pre-operational clean. That's to get rid of all the grease and debris from construction, including something called mill scale. You know, that flaky, crusty layer that forms on new steel. Then, throughout its life, it gets periodic operational cleanings to get rid of all those deposits we've been talking about.
Engineers have this whole chemical toolkit to draw from. Depending on what kind of deposit they're dealing with, whether it's hard mineral scale or some kind of oily sludge, they might bring in powerful acids, alkaline solutions, or these specialized Chelant cleaners. Chelants are really cool. They're chemicals that basically grab onto metal ions and dissolve them. The weapon is always chosen to match the enemy. Now, I really want to pause here for a second, because as the source material makes crystal clear, this is hazardous work. We are talking about extremely potent chemicals, working in confined spaces, and dealing with high-pressure systems. This is a job for highly trained professionals where there is absolutely zero room for error.
And that is why a safe operation is built on these pillars. It all starts with a super detailed hazard assessment. It involves comprehensive training for everyone on site, having the right protective gear, and a rock-solid emergency plan. It requires the kind of professional execution that specialized companies, like Bowsher Energy, which was mentioned in our source, are built to provide.
Okay, so the boiler is sparkling clean. You'd think the job is over, right? Nope, not even close. A new and totally critical phase begins, protecting the now vulnerable metal.
So after a really thorough rinse to flush the system and a neutralization step to get rid of any leftover chemicals, comes the most important part, pacification. This process applies a microscopic protective layer over the bare metal. It's kind of like putting a coat of primer on a car before you paint it. It prevents the clean surface from flash rusting almost immediately.
So, here's the crucial point. That deep clean, it's really just a reset button. The real hero is the ongoing day-to-day water treatment program that keeps the boiler healthy in the long run. Without it, all those dangerous deposits will just come right back. It's about shifting from being reactive to being proactive.
So, we've gone deep into the nitty-gritty of boiler cleaning, but let's zoom out for a second and just ask the big question. Why does any of this really matter to you and me?
Well, here's the payoff. A clean boiler is first and foremost a safe boiler. It prevents dangerous accidents. It's also an efficient boiler, which saves fuel and money, and that can affect the cost of energy and everything we buy. But most importantly, it's a reliable boiler. It ensures that the power plants, the factories, and the refineries that we all depend on every single day can keep on running smoothly. It's kind of wild when you think about it, isn't it? This incredibly complex, sometimes dangerous work is happening all the time, completely behind the scenes, just to keep our world humming along. And it really leaves you with a final question. What other invisible maintenance is out there that we're completely unaware of, but is absolutely essential to our daily lives?